Hello, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We've got Scott, so hope you're all well.
Yeah, I'm good, Dan. Good morning. Are you all right?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, it's Liverpool tomorrow. It's like finally get to meet them in the top flight. How are you feeling going into it?
Um, apprehensive, I think it's probably the right word. I suppose you've got to kind of enjoy it for what it is, for having a big club down, but at the City ground. But no, I'm not overly looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it'd be probably. I wouldn't say it'd be a big test because we had two really good tests against West Ham and Spurs. But do you think this will be the biggest test at home this season?
Yeah, I think without a doubt. Well, it should be, shouldn't it? I think Liverpool have been a bit up and down, but I watched the game against City at the weekend, and they were very good. And to beat Man City, you've got to be, you've got to be some team to beat Man City. So yeah, it's going to be a tough test. I know that they came down and we gave them a game last season, but they weren't full strength, and we had a different team. And it's yeah, so I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. And I think the worrying thing is that we're not been very good with the ball at all in the last 2 or 3 games. It's been really quite difficult to watch, to be honest. Can't fault the effort, and obviously we've not been leaking goals, so I suppose you can't solve it all at once. But yeah, I think against a team that are generally going to be very, very comfortable in possession and clinical in front of goal, I think potentially it's going to be a difficult lunchtime tomorrow.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, especially against Brighton, when they changed their back a little bit for that second half, we looked a lot more. Finny when Fury was dropping into that hole just to try and get his playing football. I mean, when I see we have got a clean sheet now, hopefully that it will give them that confidence to start to try and be a little bit more, not too expansive, but a little bit more creative on the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the next 2 games, I don't know, they're almost throwaways in some respect, that we don't expect to get anything out of them at all. So, um, yeah, the effort levels have been there the last week. It would be nice to see them kind of playing a bit more football. They're a lot better than what they're doing with the ball at the moment. They're so much better than that. And I don't know whether it's because concentration levels are focusing so much on the defensive side of the game, because you cannot fault the effort. The shape has looked a lot better. But yeah, I think particularly in midfield, the kind of, we can't, it's 2 or 3 passes, and we can't even do that. And sometimes he's not even able to complete that first pass. And yeah, it's difficult when you're playing that way. And then you've got, 3 kind of more forward players that are quite lightweight and can't hold the ball, or we're not giving them anything to kind of do. We're not playing to their strengths. We're not getting the ball in behind. So yeah, so it's a tough watch at the moment. I don't know but what would you take? Would you take us leaking in goals and collapsing like we had been, or do you take ugly and it's painful to watch and we're picking up a couple of points? So it's one of those, isn't it, really? And we should have had a point at Wolves. So
Yeah, I completely agree. To be fair, I mean, it's that sort of that confidence as well, because obviously we were doing all right up to that Man City game. Then Man City game, them shipped 6 goals, and after that, it's sort of been like just the confidence side of things. So I do think that you said concentration and that confidence to like play football and trying to keep clean sheets, and hopefully we do start to see that. Um, but yeah, I think that the midfield three. I mean, when I see Mangala back in that midfield on Tuesday night,
yeah, I was glad to see him back. I thought he was okay, but it's probably going to take him a little while just to get back up to speed. I think he did make some difference with some of his passing at times, but he's got to be a lot better than that. But I think he was taken off after the best part of an hour, so I think that was just probably getting minutes into his game and just hopefully easing him back in. I think out of that midfield, we're missing somebody with some quality on the ball, and hopefully that's going to come from Mangala, because it just feels like we need somebody to link the defence and attack at the minute, and we need to better on the ball in midfield, even if it's just literally taking care of the ball a little bit better. It's I think I lost count of how many times we gave it away. Really, it would have been a bloody good drinking game.
Yeah. It'll be a quality drinking game. But yeah, I mean, the other thing I've been noticing, and I don't know if you picked up, especially the last couple of games, and we might see again against Liverpool, is that sort of like we've sort of seen that similar players playing, like obviously at the Endo, then the back two with Cook and McKenna, then Fuller, then it's like Yatesy. So we sort of see that sort of like a settled, sort of to get a bit more of a settled team now, don't you think?
Yeah, potentially. I think it looks like he's decided on his first choice pairing at the minute. I think he obviously wants Cookie there for his experience. I think Scott McKenna's probably been the best player this season. I think him and Yates have probably been the best two. So I think that looks to be settled. I suppose the wing back's position is still up for grabs, obviously with Toffolo. Looks like he's picked up an hamstring injury, but Freuler seems to, he looks like he's kind of secured a place in midfield now, which is good. It looks like Yatesy has, to be fair, with the captain. It looks like Yatesy is one of the first on the team sheet. So Yatesy, Freuler, and then Morgan Gibbs White and Johnson. He keeps going with them two. I thought Brennan, his work rate was really good the other night, but up against Lewis Dunk and us hoofing the ball, it's kind of like he's not going to get much of a chance, is he? So it's not rocket science. So I think Cooper likes a settled team. So fingers crossed we get some consistency in the team. But I just feel a bit for the forward players because they're not really getting a chance to kind of click with each other. Just because we are just chasing the ball literally from an offensive point of view, them lads are having nothing to go on in terms of how they start developing relationships on the pitch. It's kind of, you can see from a defensive unit that you can see that they're starting to bond, and you can see in midfield they're starting to bond, but the front three just looks, there's nothing there. And Morgan Gibbs White struggled the last few games. So I don't know whether it's starting to affect him the way that we're playing. I think it's inevitable that it will do if we can't start keeping hold of the ball.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I was just saying, I mean, with Gibbs White, like, it's not affecting. I mean, I completely get you. And do you feel like it's because he went on to the win, or do you feel like he should go back into that number 10 role that he's probably more used to?
Yeah, I suppose that's been the sacrifice, hasn't it, really, to kind of take him out of that. But I just think that, I don't know, I just think even when he's getting on the ball, it's just not been, the first touch has not been good, or the second pass has not been as sharp as it could be. And maybe it has got something to do with being played out of position. He's just getting used to one position, he's now being played back out in another, so he's getting used to that. So yeah, potentially that, but you just know that the frustrating thing is that that he's a good player. And I think that's the frustrating thing with us at the minute, is that that we are far better than what is being shown, because at the minute we look a really poor Premier League team at the minute. That's my concern of what I've watched in the last 3 games. We look a really, in quality, a poor quality team. But this is the thing, you can't fault the effort. The effort, the fighting, the scrapping, brilliant. But we've got to find the quality.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, would you start up footing that number 9 role tomorrow, especially with it being Liverpool? I mean, would you go with that Dennis Surge or Rooney? And actually playing out in that striker, or could you see us doing what we did against Brighton and played like that? I wouldn't say a false nine because Brennan was like that, but up and down. But would you, which way would you go?
I don't like the false nine. The false nine says to me, you've got an injury, so you've got to play somebody smaller up top or you score that many goals from around the pitch that you can afford to play that way as a false nine. So we don't look anything like that at the minute. And I suppose maybe I'm a little bit of a dinosaur, but I quite like a target or a focal point at the top of the attack, just to relieve some of that pressure that, when we do need to kick it long, that we've got somebody that can chase, can be physical. He might win a foul, he might hold the ball up. And that's what we need at the minute, because we're kicking it long all the time. And if we're not playing it to feet, we're not going to get the best out of them lads he's picking at the minute. Well, we're not getting behind them with quality on the ball. It's got to be, if it's going to go back to being ugly, then I think we need to play ugly up top as well. And let's pressure and let's win free kicks and let's be a nuisance and get us higher up the pitch, because that was the problem. On Monday, we just couldn't get higher up the pitch and we were desperate for it. And I think, that's what we need. I will play a 1 year. I've been shouting, I think even against Leicester, I know I thought he did all right. I know he missed a couple of chances, but he was unlucky that one that hit the post. And I thought he'd done all right. And even for getting an hour out of him, I think that's just, just get him up there. But, he's up against Van Dijk tomorrow. So it's a bit of a throwaway for me. I won't really be judging anybody tomorrow if I think just do your jobs, lads. And, we can't ask any more than that. You do your jobs. And if it's not quite up to the same level as Liverpool, then, we accept that. But I think we've got to be better.
Yeah, definitely. You got a score prediction? I know this be a tricky one. I'd probably go with a head and a heart one, actually. That's for a change.
My head will go for a respectable drubbing of no more than 4. And my heart will go with a Ryan Yates 5th minute header, and then we hold on for the 90 for a 0-0. There we are.
And I'm liking that. That sounds quality. And do you want to say about your socials?
Yeah, if you want to kind of read some of my nonsense, I'm on Munich and Madrid on Twitter.
You can't be in much of my nonsense. So that's it. Thank you, Scott, for coming on.
No worries, mate. See you soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.